There is a horrible delight that comes along with the reader knowing something that the character doesn't know. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara East. I'm a writer, a YouTuber, a scholar, and the author of the mystery novel Every Time He Dies. And in today's video, I want to talk about the 10 things you need to know about character. There are so many ways that you can approach character development. Some writers like to create elaborate character profiles. Others like to figure out their characters through multiple drafts. Some discover them through writing exercises, and other unicorn writers just seem to get them right the first time. Characters, whether they be human, animal, or mineral, are the heart of any good story. If your reader doesn't like, connect, empathize with, or at least feel some kind of intrigue about your character, then they're probably not going to get that far into your book. And yes, insert obvious disclaimer here, there are always exceptions. But for those of you who are not exceptional unicorns, here are 10 tiny lessons about character. The first thing about character is that we need to know where they are and who they are. Before you slap the reader over the head with your inciting incident, we need to know where they are in time and space and who the character actually is. Now, you don't have to get all philosophical, I mean, who are we all really anyway? But if you can mention a few things like the name, age, gender, or occupation, that's a really good start. Now, obviously, how you drip out this information is going to totally depend on the type of story that you are telling. But as a general rule of thumb, we at least need to know the location of the character and what that character's name is before we're willing to follow them into the center of the earth or go save the galaxy. The second thing we need to know is what do they want? Now, this may seem kind of corny and really banal writing advice, but the reason why it's become a cliche is because it's true. When we know what the character wants, we instantly know what they value, which reveals character. It also tells us what the plot is potentially going to be about. And after all, that's the entire reason why we're reading the book. When you know what a character wants, you know what their weakness is. And as a writer, you can play off that weakness to really great effect. And that, my gentle friends, is called tension. Number 3, you need to figure out why they can't have the thing that they want. Of course, your character can't actually get what they want, or at least not in the beginning, otherwise you're going to have a really, really short novel. When a character doesn't get what they want, we learn what they are willing to do to get it and what that character is made of. Will they risk their reputation, their family's reputation, money, safety, their life? Will they crumble under pressure, give up, break, or rise to the challenge? Remember, watching people overcome tasks or even failing them is a beloved human pastime. So don't disappoint your readers by skipping this step. Number 4. What are they not willing to do? Learning what a character isn't willing to do is just as interesting as what they are willing to do. These two factors reveal so much about the character, what they value, their morals, strengths, and their determination. What actions they aren't willing to take are just as important as the ones they do. Choosing to not sell out a friend, or better yet, an enemy, in order to be victorious will warm readers' hearts even more than a clean, easy win. Number 5. Likability just isn't that important. You don't have to like a character, but readers should at least find them interesting or intriguing. You have to give them a reason to invest in your story. Why do they want to follow through until the end with someone that they don't actually like? Maybe the reader wants to see the character get theirs, or maybe they want to see them redeem themselves, or maybe we're enjoying vicariously living out our shadow selves by being in this character's head. Like everything to do with writing, there really are no rules. You just have to know why you're doing the thing that you're doing and to execute it with confidence. Rule number 6 is that your character has to have agency. Agency means that the character has to have the power to make decisions and take action. They should not be passive people who are simply responding to the stimuli and to things that are happening around them. In the infamous words of Breaking Bad,
I am the one that knocks.
but that doesn't mean that every decision they make has to be a good decision. In fact, it's much better if some of the decisions they make are really bad, especially if these bad decisions result in new obstacles that the character then has to overcome. There is a horrible delight that comes along with the reader knowing something that the character doesn't know. Do not go into that basement. But seeing characters make mistakes can add freshness to the story through unexpected twists, and it also makes the story a little bit more believable. Tip number 7, your character should be consistent. Kinda. Characters need to be consistent enough so that the reader feels as though they know them, but inconsistent enough so that they continue to surprise the reader. As I'm sure you're already aware, all humans are chock full of inconsistencies. There are vegans who eat bacon on Sundays, news junkies who hate the media, and people who are neat freaks but let their dogs sleep in their bed. One of the most exciting things that can happen in fiction is when a character does something that seems unexpected, and it's really thrilling to see that maybe we don't know that character as well as we thought we did. Step number 8. Evolution in 3 easy steps. Ideally, your character should be evolving over the course of your novel or series. This evolution usually occurs in about 3 stages. Let's use an example. In Act 1, our character might be an alcoholic. In Act 2, the character realizes they're an alcoholic and they seek out help. Things seem to go good for a while, but then they have a relapse. In Act 3, they realize they can't recover on their own, and they join a group such as AA and accept the fact that they actually need help and that this is a really long journey. A character can't just go from A to C. We need to know what happens in B. And inside B, there should be some obstacles that the character has to overcome, which forces an internal change, which leads to their evolution into C. Tip number 9, start with an archetype, then flip it and reverse it. Modeling your character on a certain archetype is a great way to introduce them to the reader, as it instantly supplies them with all of this little information about the character without you having to say very much. Your reader can identify, oh, she's a geeky girl, she likes video games and computers. Oh, he loves sports and partying. Oh, she's a hippie activist. Oh, he's a trickster. Archetypes are a good place to start, but please don't stay there. Finding inventive ways to subvert or make strange these recognizable character traits will keep readers intrigued and reading to the very last page. Tip number 10. Get to know them. As mentioned at the start of this blog, there are many ways you can get to know your character. If, for instance, you get to the end of your first draft and you feel like all of your characters kind of sound the same, there are a bunch of ways you can help individualize them and get to know them better. One thing you can do, and this is kind of fun, is that you can give them a birth date and then you can look up their astrological chart, or at least their sun sign, whether they're an Aquarius, a Sagittarius, a Cancer, whatever. And you can use that kind of information to inform the foundation of their personality. You could also create a profile or a template which lists a bunch of information that you are particularly interested in. It could be their occupation, their likes, their dislikes, their temperament, their humor. In fact, I wrote a really great blog post about this a little while ago, and I'll put that in the description box below. Now, one of my favorite examples to work out this particular issue is to imagine how all of the cast in your book will react differently to a particular situation. For example, you could imagine your protagonist trapped inside an open grave. What do? What do they say? How do they react? Do they fall apart? Or are they determined to get out of that situation? How does the protagonist's sidekick react? How does their mother react? Their father, the antagonist? everybody else who's involved in your novel. This is a simple but very visual way that you can separate all of your characters and give them individual personalities. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 10 things you need to know about character. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How do you go about constructing the characters in your novel? Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear all about it. Now, if you'd like even more writing advice, feel free to head to my website, taraeast.com. While you're there, please consider joining my weekly email newsletter. When you do, you'll receive an email to your inbox every Thursday morning, which contains a sweet note written by me, plus links to that week's blog and vlog. I also include a resource section where I list the podcasts, YouTube, videos, or articles that I have enjoyed this week, and they're usually all around productivity or writing. There's also a sweet little section called 5 Tiny Things. If you're looking for a new read, might I suggest my novel, Every Time He Dies. You can also find a sample of the first 3 chapters on my website, just in case you want to try before you buy. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. I really appreciate that you show up here every week. Have a great week, and I'll see you again next time.